you?
I am fucking so excited right now. We're literally like on the place ready to open for My Chemical Romance. So I'm shitting, crying, and throwing up, but I'm having a great time.
My Chemical Romance. Can you believe that?
No, I'm like 40, like throwing up right now. Like in way. So exciting.
That is awesome. I'm so happy for you.
Oh,
It is so cool to see. And let me give you an introduction, and we'll talk about all of this stuff you got going on and how you've gotten to that place you are right now. So I am here. My guest today is Holly Minto. Holly Minto is the singer and trumpet player for UK-based band Crawlers. What was that?
They've got to be extra with the trumpet.
Yes, we're going to ask you about that. They are opening tonight in England, Victoria Park, for My Chemical Romance. It's an exciting time for them. They are based in Liverpool. Crawlers formed in 2018, but have already established a huge fan base with over 35 million streams and almost 1 million monthly listeners on Spotify. It's just snowballed. It's huge. They have just released a new single called Fuck Me. I Just Didn't Know How to Say. And Holly, that's so naughty.
The radio team at my label were like, so you want a song called Fuck Me to be the single? And we're like, yeah. And they're like, well, do you still want radio play? We were like, yes, of course we do. They were like, well, you're going to have to come up with an alternative name, which is why we added the didn't know how to say bit. So, they don't just have to go, this is More Me by Crawlers every time it played on the radio, because otherwise that'd be quite funny.
Yeah, that's what I saw it and I said, oh boy. And I think it's great. I think it's a great title. I think you're doing what you do. And, I admire that. That's fantastic. So the hesitation with the title, you guys are doing what you do. Was there any fear that it might not get promoted the same way?
You know what? Yeah, a little bit, to be honest. Like, I think we've obviously come off the back of like a really big song, and like suddenly releasing new music's hard, and you don't really want to limit that. But I think because what the song's about, the whole point of it being called Fuck Me is to make people uncomfortable, because that's what the song kind of entails. So I think it would be causing it a disjustice to kind of not call it that. So still having that in the name, and I still think I didn't know how to say it's still relevant to it. So do love that. But, yeah,
it's fantastic though. It's a great song. You got a nice catalog of songs going. Describe Crawlers' music to people.
It's going to be on video anyway. Genreless, alternative music, genreless. We kind of like, us as a band all have very different kind of music tastes, which is the reason we love being in a band together, because we always explore like each other's different music. Like our bassist Liv is really into like metal and Tool, bands like Tool and Dream Theater. Our drummer's really into like punk music, like the Chats, and then our guitarist Amy's really into like pop music, like Charlie XCX and ABBA. And I'm very much into like indie rock and songwriter music, like Phoebe Bridgers and The Killers. So like having our combined forces makes like something fresh each time. Like we want our listeners to, every time we release a song, to be like, shit, this is nothing like the last one. What am I going to expect from these guys? And I think on our toes, it keeps our viewers on the toes. And I think like in the world where music's becoming so saturated with the way it's promoted and the way you hear it, keeping music fresh is so important to us as a band and as musicians.
Yeah, and it really is. It's you do get something different. You don't know what you're gonna get. It's a big bag of tricks that you guys have. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's really exciting. I'm thinking to myself, I hit the single right away. When it came into my inbox, that's what I first heard. What would you prefer people first listen to? Does it matter? I'm going to turn somebody on to Crawlers' music. What's the first thing they should hear?
I think Fuck Me is a good one to go with first. I think, like, even though it's our new single, it has like the heavier side of us with like heavy breakdowns. It's got the type of lyrics that, you know, I'm very much into my kind of songwritery lyrics that still kind of tell a story and have all that. But I'm also into like, you know, the heavy music. I think it's a good one to go to because from then you can obviously listen to our poppier kind of stuff and our more acoustic stuff, but then also our even heavier stuff. I think like it's a good one to start with.
Yeah, I thought so for sure. Yeah, I've got a total of like 35 million streams. You have 10 songs, 11 songs, something like that, out there. You're just starting out. What do you think it is about Crawlers that people are drawn to? You know, there's a lot of bands out there that have, you know, a lot more songs. They're just not hitting like you guys. This is, and it's,
I think like we're not different in a way that's like, oh, we're different and we're fresh. I think the industry has kind of been waiting for a band of an alternative like fashion that's fresh but also, you know, is honest with its music. And I think that's us. And I think we have that kind of energy where our songs are so serious and have such, you know, political or like, you know, we very much tackle the taboo topics of mental health and stuff in our songs, while also like trying to create a safe space. And I feel like since, you know, like the early noughties, there was such a good alternative scene, but it has like kind of dialed down as it's gone through. And I think people are kind of wanting a new alternative band to kind of support, and we're fortunate enough that people are wanting to support us, really.
yeah, it's great. I love seeing it. It's fantastic to see a band that's fresh and new like you guys, and you know, everybody is just latching onto it, and it's great. What inspires you to write? You know, your lyrics are really social issues and struggles and things like that. Is that really what inspires you to write every single time? Will we ever get a happy pop song from Crawlers?
Happy pop song, what is that? I think like I write whatever is taken has me at the time, whether that's kind of a political issue, whether that's something in my own life. Obviously, like I used to very much try and tackle things from an objective look, kind of a bit more from a political sense, but I've had like a lot of problems with my mental health, especially since lockdown. Like, you know, really thought I'd never going to write music again, and using lyrics as my kind of outlet were, you know, the way we got our first kind of viral hit, which was Come Over, and kind of experiences that we've had as like band members kind of made that happen. Like I very much use it. I literally journal my thoughts, mostly when they're at their worst, and kind of tend to use them for pop songs, you know. And I think it's kind of a nice way of doing it. Like lyrics are so important to me. Like I can't sing a song unless like the lyrics give me a tug of, oh, I've been there, I feel that. And it's such like a beautiful thing when you're performing these songs and you get put straight back into that point where you wrote them. It's crazy.
Yeah, and that comes through, I think, for the audience. When you're feeling it, we feel it, you know.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, that's definitely it.
Like my favorite artists, like whenever they write lyrics that hit me, they really hit me. And I love listening to music like that. I love music that makes me think, but music that also, it makes me think if I think about it, but I can also listen to it and just enjoy it too.
Right. Yeah. What is your writing process as a band? You write all the lyrics, the music, is it collaborative? How's it work for you guys?
And it depends on what we're feeling, depends on what we're doing. Like every single song has a different method to it. Like for example, Statues, which was from our last EP, we wrote in a room together, jamming out some ideas and riffs, and with some lyrics that I'd kind of had an idea about, but not really made a move on. Whereas like Come Over was an acoustic skeleton track where I kind of got the first chorus and the second and the first two verses written. And then after some shit that happened to my other bandmate Liv, wrote that third verse, you know, inspired by them. And it was like a together journey, and then we arranged it together in the studio. It kind of depends, and I think it keeps it exciting being able to write in loads of ways too.
Yeah, and that's another thing. I think that might have a lot to do with the way the band sounds from song to song. They're created differently. That's very rare, I find. Most bands that I'm talking to, they have they have a guy who writes lyrics and they have somebody who writes music, and that's the way they work. It's really
Like most of our songs, well, for all of our songs I write the lyrics, but like I don't think our songs would be the same, like because I'll sing these ideas, and if like the band are like, hey, why don't you try maybe just shortening that bit, just make it more punchy, and I'm like, sick, let's do it. So
yeah.
I'll try that. I'll sometimes come up with some chords, but sometimes Amy and Liv come up with riffs. Sometimes we work from like drum grooves. I feel like if you write music from the same way, you're kind of get put in a trap of writing the same song like 14 times, which a lot of bands get that issue because they'll have like a chief songwriter or they'll be stuck in a moment. Whereas like we just absolutely love writing in any way, and I think it keeps it fresh and exciting for us for sure.
Yeah, and for us too, definitely. Now you've recently signed to Polydor, which is under that Universal Music Group umbrella, which is gigantic. It's a really great signing, huge label. What can you tell us about that? Are you signed on for a number of records? Are they supporting the tour? That kind of thing?
Yeah, kind of in a very weird situation where we went from completely independent to like then being on a very, very small label in Liverpool where we just did everything ourselves apart from like the distribution. And then obviously when Come Over went viral, we were very much in a bidding war with like every US and UK label, which was so exciting for us, but also it puts so much pressure on you when you're in a good deal because then they want you to exceed. We picked Polydor because I'm really into like marketing with music, and I've looked at a lot of Polydor's campaigns for years and used them to do our own, especially with me and Amy are very much into that stuff. And when seeing what Polydor do and the artists they have, they're very much up to the career artists that we kind of want, rather than just being like single artists, because we're very much a career artist at the end of the day. But I think about the deal, we're just gonna take it as it comes. I don't think we're gonna put our whole heart in it, because at the end, like, it is a business exchange, and we're very fortunate that Polydor has chosen to work with us, and there's such a label that we've looked up for years, but it's not changed the way about how we work. We still run the campaigns ourselves, we still write music ourselves. We're just having it with a lot more helping hands, which is, it's happy that it's Polydor and Interscope, because they both have like the most amazing teams and rosters.
Yeah, and that's just so great, because you're about to come over to the US.
Yeah,
that
never
is,
been. I've hands.
what was that?
I've never been to America before.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited because I'm here in Chicago and you are coming to Chicago, and I think you're gonna love it. I really do. It's exciting. We need that too. We need the excitement of a band like Crawlers for sure.
Oh, thank you. That means a lot, because like I think most British bands are under such a pressure to break America, because that's how like all the big America, like UK bands have done it. Like you're looking back from where the Beatles were, but then to like the Arctic Monkeys, 1975, like they were only considered huge bands when they obviously broke America and started touring there and having a fan base there, which is, it's a lot of pressure on British bands, but at the same time, like it's the culture capital of the world, and
Yep.
we're excited to, we've seen Hollywood on telly. It's weird that we're gonna go. You know what I mean?
It's so cool. Would the tour happen without signing to Polydor? Are they getting you over here and supporting you for that?
So we actually had organized the American tour pre-sign. We'd already had, as when Come Over was like going crazy, we had American agents like reach out to us, because we've always had an American fan base like since we first started. When our first song, So Tired, which we literally wrote when we were 16, like it really was picked up by Spotify for some reason, even though like we recorded it for free and it was shit, but like well, it got picked up, and we ended up getting so many listeners in America. And so we've always wanted to engage with our fan base over there, especially because like the rock scene in America is so pivotal. But when obviously come over, started blowing up, we were like, well, this is the opportunity now, we've got the money. And then when Polydor and Interscope obviously got involved, we were just like, well, we're going to have a little bit more leverage now, because obviously touring costs so much money. Like, I think it's one of the best being on a major label, because they will support you on those tours. So when you finally break, you're not, you've been able to be supported until that moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was it. I look at the logistics of touring now, and it's ridiculous. For
like visas, passports, then you've got the plane, the vans, the petrol, the gear. But it's so expensive, and we're only going on tour in America with us and our tour manager Mark. Like that's all who's coming with us, and to keep it as cheap as possible for our first journey. But I feel like as long as we're making our marks out there and proving to people that we are the hard workers that we are, hopefully we'll stick.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. And you'll have you're playing at a place called Subterranean here in Chicago, and it's a small gritty club. It's perfect for you guys. I think it's just playing places like that, you're gonna see a great reception. People will absolutely love it.
When we first started, we were playing like 3 gigs a week in dive bars and basements. So obviously it's been such a difference than doing this sold out UK tour. We're about to play 20,000 people today. Like, what the fuck? Obviously, we're not used to that type of stuff. We're very much used to the 5 people who used to come. Shout out to those 5 who's still coming to all our gigs. But it's nice to be able to do those things and then be able to play Lollapalooza as well. Like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm. It's so cool. It's great. I mean, it's a great experience for you guys for sure. That's the way you do it. I love that. I love the idea that you're playing to a bunch of different kinds of rooms. Really cool. And today is super exciting. I'm really excited for you. And I will let you go. I got one more for you. When you're over here playing, do you approach it differently? Do you feel like are you going to do the performance, the music selection a little bit differently here for an American audience? Do you feel like, I'll hear this so much. Are you too English? A lot of bands feel that way.
Doing is probably speaking a little bit more pronounced, I think, because obviously sometimes I go into a bit of like Scouse twang mode and I'll be like, "You're right, guys," and everyone's gonna be like, "What do you say? Sorry, I don't know what's going on." So I'm gonna like try and speak properly and slowly so everyone knows what I'm saying, which is really hard. What a mouthful. But just to make sure everyone knows what I'm saying, and they're just like, "Wow, that band were great," but I had no idea what the fuck they were saying. So definitely gonna pronounce myself. But music wise, hopefully that speaks for itself, and we're gonna continue to kind of play around with our set as we're touring and play a lot of new music that we're really excited to share with everybody, especially on the US tour.
Yeah. Any American city that you really excited to play? Something you
Arizona's my excited one, just because I have a friend from Arizona who went to my uni and she moved back home, and I'm really fucking excited to see her. Like, she's such a star. So playing to a lot of like internet friends that I've had for a long time and mutuals, which I've been very chronically online my whole life, so it's going to be very weird seeing people in real life.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's very cool. Any American food? We got we love our food over here. We got different food for different regions.
But we are like the worst band to like go around on talks. Like, 2 of us are celiac, 1 of us is vegan. Like, we are absolutely troublesome. So it's going to be fun to find a place where we all eat. But I have a feeling I'll be eating a lot of fries and salads, probably.
Yeah, they're fries. You got it. Not chips. Not chips over here.
Batter and good though. Like, fries are like fries. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm excited for you guys. Good luck tonight. Have the time of your life.
Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. I so appreciate you, Holly. And June 13th at Subterranean here in Chicago. You got a full tour. Where can we find you online?
You can find us on literally every social media. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Be Real for some reason. We even go that far. Keeping up to date with the things. But follow us, keep up to date, and we can't wait to see you all in America.
That's so exciting. Holly, thank you, thank you, thank you. And
Much.
have a great time tonight. I'm so excited for you.
Thank you. Have a nice spot. See you later.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.